Our bodies on the beach, our ship a smoldering wreck. The jungle watched loud and deep, the grit of sand on our cheeks. Of 1,000 islands, fate had granted one. With what breath we had, we stumbled, under a sun that grew and rumbled, into that deep and loud obscene, till not a living man was seen. Immediately the jungle closed its grasp, heavy wet, a living mass of things that bit, that stung, that roared. Far worse was the water that poured from the sky in tearing sheets, from the eyes as soldiers weep. For our fallen not found, the truth of a war so proud, the rich invading smell of hot metal and oil, forging young men for war. Separated we were, lost, for none knew of the fate of ship and crew, set upon by enemy in air, without mere moments to spare. Then, next awakened, still breathing, we survivors ventured into this seething, steaming, beating sea of evening, of a verdant, sick and weaving. Its tendrils crossed our broken hearts. Chance of help uncertain, with the closing of its curtain, its curtains of waxy greens. Days passed, one to next, falling forward our only quest, but never fast in this held morass. So like a dream descending, a constant day unending, of a hope we kept pretending we would go home. Of our trail there was none to follow, for our hellish trek erased by morrow. Our dead it quickly swallowed, this coiling, broiling nest of serpents, which fed on light and water, and life that quickly rotted, when life was there departed, yet the vessel still remained. One by one ripped in ruin, undone by this journey of consuming, that it was slow our recognition, the changing of our position, from oppression, heat, and hell, from tight and closely held, to an opening sun-kissed swell, to a downward stretch of land. And there below, amongst Herculean stones, a welcome sight we came across. The jungle had unclenched its grasp into an area we could pass. Our haunted trance dawned understanding of this new world we saw expanding. A forgotten dream commanding, we awoke from our hypnotic wait. In the heart of an ancient kingdom, at the edge of an ancient lake. Clear, so clear, as if no reflection could appear, of a sky now seen blue above. On our knees we kneeled and trembled, our deprivations marked, resembled pleading worshippers assembled at the feet of God. Blue and green and teal, those ancient still waters revealed a bottom devoid of murk, nor any creatures that swam or lurked, water more inviting than a lover's arms. Charmed, quickly we set to work, to quench the thirst that had perched in our throats that stung and hurt, from the taste of the rotted earth and the fetid air we'd found. To quench the fire made by the jungle and its blaze, stoked and fed while in its cage, its maze of deepest green. Our fingers broke still waters. Then they came, walking, never talking, lithe, gentle creatures stalking us victims of the mocking jungle and its creeping deep. Of exotic features pure, they spoke without a word. Green-eyed and brown of skin, they invited us all in. They welcomed us with ease, but filled with fear we seized to accept their welcome hands. Yet our hunger did not retreat, and quickly we joined their feast, a meal of exotic treats, mostly sour, yet often sweet, such succulent bits of meat that we sucked between our teeth. Time seemed to slow, bitter honey in the snow, sweet but not to know of the bitter fall in spring, the thaw the light would bring as the amber drop ripped free. Night finally raised her hand as I was guided by a plan, by a maiden's open hand, into a jungle now more friend than enemy. But I paused, holding a moment, freezing when mother has called, sensing some disturbance, a change in the air that made her whisper admonishments. Son, you must take care. I released the maiden's hand, and the opium of her presence ran, and a cloud upon my eyes lifted, and I was no longer blind. Dead all around me. At the lake's edge, dead. The water reflecting what couldn't be said. My comrades in arms, dressed and ready, like hogs on the farm, steady. I thought to myself, heady, the scented remains of our repast. I recognized others, all of our fallen brothers, brothers I had left behind as they had withered and died, but now obviously saved from the jungle's decaying dismay. Here they all were, and next to them, racks, set above fires that smoldered and cracked, that gave off sweet smoke that caused me to choke, then to evoke all my stomach contained from the feast of these folk. No fiends, some twisted and sick walking disease, feeding dark gods they could never appease, while wearing faces like you and me. I spun, fleeing in fright, as the true face of my hosts came into sight. Misshapen and lurching, arms too long for their frames, brows massive and heavy, heads covered in dark manes, round, swollen bellies, eyes set too wide apart, skin painted in tattoos of the darkest art. Some primordial race that had been lost and forgotten, who never knew weal and were more like the haunted and the cursed, who had not been saved by the sacrifices man had to make, being blessed with a rise, evolving to find a path free of the mire, while other creatures expired, finding gods and goddesses more like us, who offered us blessings and thrones we could touch. These lake-living things had none, at least none no sane human could love. No Buddha or Moses, nor sacred red roses, they even stood removed from that garden of two, and the first act the serpent eschewed. From the damned I ran, clutching my life. In my waking right hand, clutching my knife. The jungle played, toyed with my soul, guiding me on a path I could not control. The green opened and said to me, "Behold." Covered in vines and encircled by trees, shine the face of a god that offered no peace. It rose high against the hill, carved from a strange, glistening stone, larger than life, surrounded by bones. What light there was danced, stars trapped under its skin. Impossible. Something so massive should not yet be undiscovered, at least by recent spy planes in their passes and hovers. But here it was. Here it was. It was all it could be, devoid of physiognomy like she or he. My mind sought to define, but the more I sought, the steeper the climb. Coils obscuring, parts of it stirring, folding fat wrinkles of flesh, scales or pustules or tiny sharp horns, a thing still maturing, yet to be born. Frozen in some amoebic state, a gestating embryo in space. I couldn't tell. The eyes, deep and black and unwanted sky. It saw me. I was sure, feeling its presence in the tears that had blurred, clouding my vision from this holy site worshipped by monsters that preyed on the night. Prayed to something that no heaven had made. Screaming, breathing, barely even breathing, I flew into the jungle and fell into evening. For how long, I do not suppose. Finally, I awoke from my nightmare. Madness in tatters my clothes. Not much more I can tell you. This was all that was shown. The answers you seek are not mine to hold. But this I can answer. Never to go and drink from the waters.
Where no reflection may grow.
Nor eat with the people who worship dead bones of an ancient deity
that rests in repose,
waiting and watching to steal back its throne.